Hey, it's Bo Immaculate Paint Protection. Today we got a 2024 Ford Raptor. Just came to the shop. We're gonna show you how to prep wash this truck. We're doing this professionally at Immaculate Paint Protection. You can mimic these results at home if you follow our step-by-step guide here. We're gonna wash the wheels and the tires first. We do this first because it's the dirtiest part of the truck. We have a dedicated black bucket with our tools in here. We have Gyeon foam in the bucket. Gyeon foam is gonna help keep our tool set clean as we're washing the wheels down here. We're gonna use Gyeon iron wheel cleaner. Iron means that it has an indicator. It's going to go purple. The purple indicates there's iron on the wheels. Iron's coming from the brake rotors, brake calipers, all that brake dust in there. We're going to spray into the barrels too. We're going to use Gyeon tire cleaner on the tires. We're going to let it set up for 2 to 4 minutes. Now, you want to do this in the shade. Don't let the sun be bearing down on your back, drying it all off. And after 2 to 4 minutes, we can come in, we can use our dedicated tool set. First, we're gonna use a nice boar's hair brush. The boar hair bristles are super soft, so we don't mind taking the risk of scratching these expensive wheels, expensive rims. We're gonna use the lug nut brush, believe it or not, on the lug nuts. And then we're also gonna get around the valve stem here. We're gonna use tight fillets. After that, then we're gonna come in, we can use our barrel brush, right? So this is the trick right here. Cleaning the barrels every time you wash the truck, it's gonna make those rims just pop, right? That's what you wanna show. And that's where you walk up to a truck and you're like, wow, this guy's really taking care of it. That's what you're looking for. After that's done, we'll get our fender brush here so we can clean the fender wells really nicely. Now we'll use a dedicated tire brush. So these bristles are actually pretty soft. So if we hit the wheel, it's okay, you don't have to worry that. We're gonna agitate scrub the black rubber here. Get that really nice and clean. Now we can rinse it all off. So the trick here when you rinse it off is start away, take a step back, and then step into it. Get real close and you turn the pressure on right away. Well, guess what? You're gonna blow all that dirty water all over your nice clean pants, and now you're gonna be dirty. When we've made one pass around the wheels and the tires, we're going to pick off where the valve stem is, and we want it on the other side here. We're going to jump in, we're going to drive the truck forward here. We want to rotate the wheels 180 degrees. Now we're going to run around and we're going to repeat the same process again. We have a very tight, very efficient, and a very methodical wash process here. Okay, so the wheels and the tires are done. Trust me, that's the most difficult part of this wash process. So now let's get into the next step. We're gonna pre-soak the vehicle down. We're gonna just pre-soak it with Gyeon tar first. Let's talk about the cheaper products just for 1 second, okay? I get it. Everybody's out shopping for the best or the cheapest or whatever you wanna call it. I use tar in our shop because I'm bringing brand new high dollar vehicles into my shop. You don't wanna take the risk of staining the black plastic, all right? If you wanna buy the cheap stuff, fine, do it at your own risk, but at least do me this favor if you got the cheap product. Test it on a small section, right? So all that's black around here could get possibly stained up with an inferior, cheaper product. So just spray a little under there, let it set a couple minutes. You spray some cheap product on here and you stain this plastic insert because you saved $3 by going down to the auto store. That's the problem with the internet I got, is that everybody's reviewing these products, talking about these products. I get it, hey, this is the best product ever. Again, that's the only downside to this whole YouTube certified nonsense right now, is that you don't know who to trust until you can trust somebody. So I get it if you're skeptical watching this, I would be too. But just know that we're doing this professionally at Immaculate Paint Protection. We're bringing our clients back, we're showing the results firsthand. So you can mimic these results at home if you follow our step-by-step guide here. So Gyeon tar is gonna do exactly what it says it's gonna do. It's gonna remove tar. Tar is those black little spots or streaky spots that you see from the asphalt, from the road. Side of the rocker panels here, we wanna get the rocker panels super clean before we put the paint protection film on. Got tar on, let's keep doing this. So look, there's some bug spots on this vehicle here. So let's spray bug and grime on the bug spots. It's gonna go in there, it's gonna loosen up the bugs, so the bug's right there. The thing about the bugs is we wanna get these off as soon as we possibly can. Whether you have paint protection film or ceramic coating, we still want you to get this off as soon as you possibly can. Acid in the bugs is gonna etch into that paint. And we've seen it so bad sometimes that even wet sanding won't get it out. Wet sanding, buffing, heavy duty paint correction destroys it. So again, maybe the rest of the vehicle doesn't need to be washed down, but you got a bunch of bugs on there. Get the bugs off ASAP. Before we start foaming up, this is really important. We're gonna remove the rinse wand, apply the foam cannon. Just a quick connection here, that's all, right? So pull it back, fits in, quick connect, boom. Well, that sounds really good, right? We're locked in nice and tight here. Let's test that connection. Okay, what I'm trying to do there is I want to make sure that connection is solid. If this foam cannon comes off and hits the door, really not a big deal. If it blows off and hits the side of this guy's truck here, I got a problem, right? Now I got to call Steve, tell him, hey, thanks for coming back here, but we did something stupid. Don't worry, we have insurance for it. We never want to have that conversation. All right, so let's get to it. So you can measure it up here precisely as Gyeon. I always like to put a little extra foam in there. Is it doing anything? Maybe, maybe not by putting a little extra foam. But what it is doing, it's making those great big foams. So if you're out there on Saturday morning or Sunday morning and you're having the car wash competition with your neighbor down the street that knows everything, you put a little more foam in there, you get that big foam. Everybody goes, wow, look at you, you know what you're doing. And you do, because you're watching this video, so kudos to you. But we'll put more foam in. We'll let it sit on there a couple minutes. It's going to emulsify the grime. That's going to encapsulate the dirt, and it's going to go in there. It's going to work, right? You know, the magic of the bubbles or whatever. It's loosening up the dirt, right? We want to loosen the dirt up so it easily comes off the vehicle. So when we do take a pressure washer to it, you didn't want to touch the vehicle when it's dirty to put a swirl or scratch in it. You want to get all the dirt, all the grime, all the sand here, right? You'll see a lot of sand on these vehicles sometimes, the road gravel, the fines. We want to flush all that away here in the next step. Let's get it as clean as possible before you start touching the car. We're gonna rinse all the foam off. We're gonna start top to bottom. And we're gonna get a little bit closer on this, right? I'm not worried, there's no PPF on the car yet. We gotta worry about getting close, blowing off. There's no ceramic coating on here. Let's use the pressure from the pressure washer. Let's use the force of the pressure washer. We get a little bit closer and we can clean it with the pressure washer. Now we're still gonna have to touch it with wash. Don't click off just yet, we're not done. But let's get this as clean as possible. Let's flush all the dirt off. Let's flush all the grime off. Let's flush any contamination off that could swirl and scratch the paint off. Iron decon step, right? So everybody gets excited about this one here. We're getting closer and closer to really clean, pristine, immaculate looking paint now. So we're gonna spray the iron decon on. So we're using Gyeon iron today. Those iron particles, they're bearing down into the clear coat. So they're eating down into the clear coat. We're gonna chemically remove those iron particles, right? So old school way was to do clay bar and just cut it off the top. This is virtually gonna eliminate the need for the clay bar step. I would strongly suggest doing everything you possibly can to get to the point where you don't need to clay bar your vehicle. Iron products traditionally have a distinct odor to it. We effectively call it fart juice in the shop. Spray the iron on, let it sit 2 to 4 minutes. Don't do this in the full sun. Again, we're gonna keep repeating ourselves. We're doing this because we're putting paint protection film and ceramic coating on the vehicle. This doesn't need to be part of your wash process every time. If it's on the road quite a bit, 2, maybe 3 times a year, typically once a year. Let's rinse the iron decon off the vehicle. You notice here, one of the things that's cool about this is we have a nice blue rubber tip around the wand. That's a safety tip. Anything we can do to avoid marring the paint throughout the process or scratching the paint, we're always all about that here. But when we're rinsing the iron off, the one thing we're going for, let's pay quick attention to these seams here. This is where the iron can hang out. We get in there, we want to flush that stuff out really well. The moment you've all been waiting for. Thanks for sticking around. You've made it this far in the video. Hang with me. We're almost done. Now we're really going to do what most people would consider the wash. We're going to use the 2-bucket method wash. We have 2 grit guards in here. We just put Gyeon Bathe in the green bucket. So the green bucket was first clean water. We did about 1.5 ounces, 2 ounces or so. The point is, look, you think this stuff's expensive. Look, 1.5 ounces to 4 gallons, 5 gallons of water. It's highly concentrated soap. So go do the math yourself. You'll find out that it's less expensive maybe than the big box store. All right, so bring it out. Just wring it out. Got the soap and water here. I'm gonna just wring it into this bucket here. That's fine. That way it's not all over the floor. So front to back, overlap about 50%. Now I'm gonna flip the wash mitt. I'm going side to side. All right, straight line motions, because if we do a circular motion and it does mar it, the circles become more noticeable to the eye, where the linear motion, or linear marring is not. There's a whole lot of work we do before we quote unquote wash the vehicle. Now, all those steps we've done prior to is to make sure we don't swirl and scratch the paint off. Now, what we're doing is we're going to wash these wash mitts out after every panel. That way, the wash mitts are always clean when they're going onto the truck. We do panel by panel. We're not going to wash the whole truck. That way, if we do pick up any contamination, which means grit, which means grime, which means sand, which means something that swirl and scratch the paint, we shouldn't. But if we do, and we damage or swirl or scratch or mar, we're going to isolate the damage to a small section. Right? That's why we are continually diligently washing this out now. We're going to use this detail brush here around the front grille. We'll get into these seams here. We'll lift the door handle up a little bit. We'll do this detail brush into there. That's where we're going to get all that dirt out of there. So that way, when the rain starts dripping down, it's not going to pick up and you'll see that dirty water, dirty streaks coming down. After we've done this, at the very end of the process, let's blow our cuff mitt out, right? So we use a cuff mitt for 2 reasons. One, it's smaller, so it's going to fit into the door wells here, the door jams. And then 2, it's different than the big wash mitt. So these door jams here, this is some of the dirtiest area in the vehicle. We don't want to get any of this grit and grime all over the rest of the vehicle and scratch or roll the paint. Final rinse. We're going to rinse from top to bottom. At this point in the rinse process, I can be 1 foot, 2 foot off. We can just use the big wide fan, the pressure washer. Let's just kind of blow all the soap off. The idea here is methodical, go side to side, front to back. Let's make sure we just see clear water, right? Again, focus on these seams here, blow the seams out. That's where a lot of the soap will hang out. Here's the point, we want to get 100% of the soap off now. All right, so now we're ready to dry the vehicle off. So if you have a blower, you can use a blower. We'd like to take the blower around. Sometimes we'll use the blower and all these seams again, because the water will just keep hanging out in there. We'll like to use the blower to blow out the lug nuts, blow off the grill. That's a nice area, a good spot to use a blower on. Anything that touches the car, can damage, can swirl, can scratch the paint. You just spent 80 grand, 100 grand, 120, 140 grand on your big pickup truck. If you buy high quality microfiber towels, you take care of them by washing them on cold temperature, drying them on low heat, they're gonna last for years. We use these towels 2, 3, 4 times a week. We've had them for 3, 4 years now. Big truck like this, we're probably gonna use most likely 3 or 4 of these big towels. These are the big Gyeon silk dryer towels. We use the nap in here to pick up all the water. We're not rubbing super hard, we're just dragging the towel across it if we can. I like to go side to side, corner to corner. If you ever drop a wash mitt, you drop a towel on the ground, pick it up, set it to the side. What you don't want to do is you don't want to drop the wash mitt on the ground, pick it up, and then start washing it, right? You can drop it on the ground, you can pick up dirt, you can pick up gravel, and then you can swirl your car up. Or worse, you're going to scratch your car up. Thanks for sticking around to the very end. To build Immaculate paint protection, appreciate your time today. If you're looking for a step-by-step guide on how to wash your truck at home, check our website out at immaculatepaintprotection.com. And for wash kits, we have those available for sale too. Would appreciate if you hit the like and subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next video.